Today in Algebra 1, Chapter 5, Section 1, we are going to learn to write linear equations in slope-intercept form. It's been a while since we've done this, since we've been out over the Christmas break, so let's refresh that just a minute. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Okay, remember m is your slope, okay? Slope, remember, is the rise over the run, how much it goes up over how much it goes across. Let's try to keep that in a fraction when we can. The slope is the rise over the run. Okay, B is your y-intercept. That is your starting point. All right, so let's put an equation on here. Let's call this y equals 2/3 x minus 4. Okay, so if we are going to graph that, we're going to start with our y-intercept at -4. So we're going to start right here at -4 and put our point. Now from there, our rise is 2. Here's our slope. Remember, our slope is 2 over 3. So we're going to rise 2 and we will run 3. And we can do that a couple of times if we want to, so that we can have some points to make a really good line. Okay, and so there is our line, y equals mx plus b, with a y-intercept at -4 and a slope of 2/3. Okay, that's just a quick review so that we can go on and be able to see this line or be given some points and be able to write the equation. Let's go to the next page so we can look at that. Remember, the slope-intercept form of a line is y equals mx plus b. The two parameters of a line are the slope, which is represented by the letter m, and the y-intercept, which is represented by the letter b. Okay, if we want to write an equation in slope-intercept form, the first thing that we need to find is the y-intercept. Where is this line crossing the y-axis? Okay, right here we see that line is crossing the y-axis at 4. So b, our value for b is 4, positive 4. So we can put that in right there. The next thing that we need to find is the slope. The slope is the rise over the run. So let's count that. From this point right here, from your y-intercept, your line is rising 1, 2, 3, 4. So it went up 4. And then it's going to the left. It's running 1, 2, 3. It's running -3. So your slope is -4/3. The other way that you could have done it is you could have gone down from your y-intercept. You can count down 1, 2, 3, 4. So your slope is, your rise is -4 over your run, which is 1, 2, 3 to the right, which is a positive 3. Okay, either way that you want to do that is fine because these two things will be the same. A positive 4 over a -3 gives you the same value as a -4 over a positive 3. Therefore, your slope is -4/3. So let's put that in for m. Y equals -4/3. Okay, -4/3 again is your slope. And we put our x in there, plus 4. So now you have written the equation of a line. Remember, the first thing you need is your y-intercept, and you substitute that in. The next thing you need is your slope, and you just count your rise over your run for that. Okay, now let's figure out what we're going to do if they tell you to write a linear function and they give you that f of 0 equals 5, that's this right here, and then they tell you that f of 4 equals 17, which is this right here. All those are ordered pairs, so don't be afraid of that. Okay, this is an ordered pair 0, 5, and this is an ordered pair 4, 17. Okay, if you are given two ordered pairs, can we find the slope? Absolutely. Remember, the slope, all that is the rise over the run. How much the rise has to do with the y, what was the change in the y over what was the change in the run? So the y over the x. So let's see, what was the change in the rise? Here is our y value of 5, and it's going to 17. So from 5 to 17, the rise was an increase of 12. Okay, so we have an increase of 12. Okay, now let's figure out the change in the run. The run went from 0 to 4, so that was an increase of 4. So it was an increase of 12 over an increase of 4, which gives you, when you reduce that, is an increase of 3. So your slope is a positive 3. Now we have our slope. m equals 3. Okay, the other piece of information we need is the y-intercept, which is our b. We need m and we need b. All right, let's take a look at this right here. F of 0 equals 5. All that is an ordered pair. What would that look like? 0, 5. That point would be right there. Oh, that must be the y-intercept, b equals 5. Anytime the x value of an ordered pair is 0, okay, this is our x, anytime that x value is 0, then the y value right here has got to be the y-intercept. Okay, so now we have m and we have b, and we can write our equation. And y equals mx plus b. Remember, we're looking for the slope, which is m, the y-intercept, which is b. Y equals 3x plus 5. And there you go. Okay, that's the equation. If they want it in function form, all you do is replace that y with f of x. Okay, so we would go, function form is f of x. Okay, same thing, y and f of x. Okay, f of x just means function form, and then it's the same thing, 3x plus 5. Okay, this is in equation form and y equals form. F of x is a function. Let's take a look at one more of those. Okay, f of 0 equals negative 2. Again, that's just an ordered pair of 0, negative 2. Okay, f of 8 equals 4. Again, just an ordered pair, 8, 4. All right. Now, we need to get our slope. Okay, we are looking for the slope, which is m, and we're looking for the y-intercept, which is b. Let's go back to these ordered pairs. What was the change in the y? The y started at negative 2. It went to 4. Was that an increase or a decrease? Well, from negative 2 to positive 4 is an increase of 6. That's the rise. Now let's look at the run, which is the change in the x value. The x value started at 0, right here, and it's going to 8, and so that is an increase of 8. So 6/8 reduces to 3/4. Okay, and 3/4 is the slope. So we have m, 3/4. All right, now we need to know our y-intercept. Again, anytime you have an x value of 0, the corresponding y value has got to be the y-intercept. Let's stick that on there so that we can see. 0, negative 2. That's just an ordered pair occurring right there. Okay, that is the y-intercept. So now we know that the y-intercept is negative 2. Okay, so we've put that right there. We can graph that and take a look. And we see that here's our y-intercept at 0, negative 2. Our other point, okay, is at 8, 4, which is right here. And you could draw that line and say, okay, the y-intercept's at negative 2. The slope is 3/4, which means we could rise 3, 1, 2, 3, and run 4. Rise 3, 1, 2, 3, run 4, and it would fall on that line. Okay, now that we have the slope and the y-intercept, we can write our equation in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Okay, so y equals, what is the slope? 3/4. Okay, and then we're going to write our x, and then the y-intercept is negative 2. So there you go. Okay, so what might you need to know for a quiz on this? Well, you need to know that slope-intercept form is y equal mx plus b. And you need to know that m is the slope. And you need to know that b is the y-intercept. Okay, the slope, remember, all that is the rise over the run. Okay, the rise has to do with your y-axis because it's going up and down, and the run has to do with your x-axis because it's going from left to right. And your y-intercept is just where a line is crossing the y-axis. Those are the things that I would know for a quiz on this video. Hope y'all had a great break and you're ready to roll.